and suitable content on the station, you have a right to voice your complaints with the station management. Should you not be satisfied with the response or action taken, you can escalate your complaint to the Communications Commission at PO Box.
We'll coordinate the question and answer session with taking 3 questions at a time, and Hlengiwe and Sbongseni will assist with just keeping us honest with regards to remembering everything. So if you feel like we haven't answered yours, we commit to openly answering all of the questions. So can I please have the first 3?
FNB ngabamfisha wavele kumakhada. I want to double click on the share price which you see in the other players. And then secondly, your credit loss is looking very good. 0%. I'm thinking, what miracle are you doing? Are you becoming crafty with the numbers? My last question, Dennis, is how's the capital in the bank? Are you not sitting on too much capital at the expense of declaring more dividends? Yeah, how is that looking? Thank you.
That we try to tackle this.
Okay.
Maybe to inform more.
Okay.
One around, are we ready to make a retail offering on the share? This question was raised quite a few times when we came onto the market the first time. A retail offering, to those that may not be familiar, is can we allow individuals to own a part of FNB? It has always been the intent. I'll try and say it succinctly. Jabulo, you can assist and anyway. It has always been the intention. I think the guidance that we got from the board and from our shareholder at the time was let us be progressive around the shareholding conversation. Doing a retail offering day one was always a complex exercise. We tried it in 2018 and it went into a lot of, I think practical challenges on how to do it right and to do it responsibly. So when we took the position that let us accommodate the process by starting with an institutional offering, but be very deliberate in who we target. So the institutions that are shareholders at FNB are not just narrowly owned. We wanted institutions that have broad ownership and broad membership, so that the retail or individual investors that we could not accommodate can at least be accommodated through those pension funds and asset managers. So that's the second point. And I think the third one is what we have asked for as management from our board is that can we just allow this to stabilize, see how the market and the institutional investors that have participated are handling this ownership, and if there is a business case for an additional offering, let management go back. I'm looking at Mr. Lamine. Let management go back to the board and the shareholding committee to say perhaps we should consider. So the door was never closed. It will be informed by developments. I have my doubts that even with a share like this, that even if we were to go retail, the likelihood is that those first retail takers may do the same thing that the institutionals have done, but the door is not closed.
If I were to add anything, it would be just to say that from a collections perspective, one of the things that we believe we do well is engage with customers. So immediately when you go into areas, we have a conversation, we talk to you. I think what we focus on is to have you or find ways in which you can pay the money back rather than us rush to sell your assets. So I think the engagement model has been quite robust and very proactive, which is why our numbers are this low.
Good morning, CEO. I firstly want to share, well done on your presentation. I hope that my questions will not be negative. So I will shoot as far as I can. In fact, in trying to be positive, I want to pick up on your suggestion of a job creation national position that you are suggesting the country could look at, and I think it's a very good suggestion. One will ask how far you can take that with the relevant conversations taking place. But also now internalizing it at FNB, the more that you expand on your digitals and other solutions, you obviously will be tempted to cut, I don't know, maybe tempted is not a good word, but you will be cutting jobs here and there because you've got all of these solutions. So how are you juggling that aspect of job creation and also staff retention and also finding talent and skill? I see that you have very young looking people around you. And so obviously there is a sense that you are doing a competitive, running a competitive business where everybody has got to bring their A game. So how are you juggling those two things? And then my main question, though, is over the past 10 years, if I look at your slides, the business has grown exponentially, extremely high, unmatched. And I congratulate Thokozane for coming in at this point. It looks good. So one is tempted to ask then, Gogutsi, where to from here? And when I say where to, I mean in terms of the business. So what's next? Where next? Now this is for the outgoing guy. Obviously, when you perform like this, I mean there should be offers coming from here up to Skupe for you know, for what you've done and achieved at FNB. And then I will end with this question, obviously relating to the CMA. I can see that the central bank has tweaked a bit and is plugging the gaps, if you can use that phrase. But I want to ask, in terms of the leaks that you brushed through, Koguti, Ingabe, one, were there any related shocks when the thing came out, in terms of, whoa, Nababantu Kutsiwa Bebenda A, B, and C, and you're right, I didn't see FNB in those little things that we saw. But did it impact on your business for that short period, if anything? And has what the central bank done been to manage those kind of risks of information or of people behaving in this way? Thank you.
So obviously there was an angst from customers to say, what is actually going on? And we had to engage with those customers and tell our story from an FNB perspective. Because obviously we are an entity that's operating within a certain regulatory framework. And within that regulatory framework, there are obligations that are placed with us. And we did the disclosures that we did to our regulators in terms of the, I would say, the principles and the requirements that are there. So ours was to engage, explain, and provide comfort to the customers that were impacted. So we didn't see what I would say perhaps was a fallout or a negative outlay of customers from doing business with us. But once that assurance had been provided, and also to commit to our customers how protective we are as an institution in terms of dealing with their information, they were comfortable with how we dealt with our end of the bargain in terms of the reporting obligation. So I would say there were no negative outcomes from a customer perspective. But what we've also done is also to look internally as FNB in terms of what is it that we can improve to further safeguard, you know, the customer information. So there have been tweaks in our reporting mechanisms that we're doing with our regulators. And we also did engage with our regulators to explore the avenues that we can use that are more secure and to protect any future leaks. That is obviously an item that is still being dealt with by the regulators. There are engagements that are ongoing, and we believe that there will be a closeout with FNB. I think they have reached to other institutions in terms of what has happened, and then what is it that you can contract going forward to make it more secure. Thank you.
Thank you. So the ongoing engagements around the leak story, it was very uncomfortable. I think with every leak that was published, there were meetings long into the night around how do we continue to protect customer information. But the decision that has been made is that the law is the law. We have to comply with the law. But we have advised, given feedback to regulatory agencies around where we think the law can be tightened, where we think processes can be tightened, and where we think we can actually ease anxiety. From a customer standpoint, you don't want to go to bed wondering if your personal finances will be splashed in newspapers. None of us wants that. So we've worked over time to engage honestly and fully with those. On the job creation piece, so our thoughts, thank you for the question, by the way. Our thoughts are, there is a job growth intent at a policy level. How does that translate away from just looking at FDI only to say the existing corporates within the country? How do we coordinate what the targets are, how we individually report on those targets, what segments of the population we are chasing after, and how are we doing it in a manner that is coordinated at this point. Where to from here around the business? I think when you do engage with Mr. Dlamini and the team going forward, there's a powerful story that's coming out of there on what should FNB look like in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time. And I think I'll respect his views and his thoughts on the matter. But we do see an opportunity to not just flex to the maximum allowed by regulations, but to also consider how we can reinvent aspects of our business to Make sure that we handle the customer holistically. We do think we should be a primary touch point with everything that the customer needs when it comes to financial services and financial support. And there's definitely scope for growth there. I think we will articulate that in the coming 12 months. Where to from here for me personally? Thokozani actually helped me to answer this question yesterday because we thought it might come up. So the official response, I'll start with that. We've been very consistent with communication and transparency. And when there's been developments, we've communicated proactively. And when the specifics around the way to for me come through, we will maintain the same standard. That is the official response. But I suppose the underlying question, though, is that one, we are not uncomfortable with continuity because everything that we've done has been done through a collective. We've put together a fairly strong team and a very diverse team. So it's part of why we did the introduction of everyone here, because to demonstrate that this has been a team effort. For me personally, I do think, I think when I came here, I don't know if it's appropriate to share, Hlengiwe and Zetu might kill me after this, but that's okay. I think we should place timelines as individuals around leadership roles. And I know those timelines will differ with industries. Because when you've got a deadline around yourself and what you can deliver, then you probably are more likely to deliver a lot more, a lot quicker, because you've placed a personal deadline. I was never going to personally want to exceed 10 years. And that's where part of the energy has come from. The second point I will make at a personal level is that it is important that we open doors for others. Leadership is very attractive, and there's a lust that builds over time. And in some of the roles, I'll emphasize it's not the same for every corporate. It is easy to get drawn into the benefits and the power that comes with the roles, and in doing that, you can actually close the door for others. So when one person moves, 5 doors open. So Thokozani would not be here if it wasn't for that, decision with the board. So opening doors is actually quite important. And I think maybe it's just a sharing an experience from my part, that if you may allow me. In all organizations, that maximum optimal tenure will differ by sector, by industry. But over time, an organization starts taking your own character and molds itself around your personality and your thoughts and your strengths and your weaknesses. Inevitably, over time, the organization's capability is going to be restrained to your strengths and weaknesses. So when you don't move and you don't switch, the weaknesses become embedded, the strengths become embedded, and people don't know anything better. So for me personally, it is actually quite important that we as leaders make an assessment around when can I leave the stage, and leave the stage at a timing when you can deliver succession responsibly. And then lastly, you don't want succession to be informed by scandal and crisis. I think succession should be informed. It should happen.
I won't ask hard questions. I do have a lot of questions, but on something that's happening now. You've been doing Forex for a week, I think now. Mane Sisu was explaining, sort of glossed over the credit card issue. I thought she glossed it over. The issue is on the whatever she had put there. She said you will continue to pay. There's a way we were paying a week ago. She then said people had been told that they will continue to pay. I don't think that's the impression I have in my mind, but I need clarity. Are we going to continue paying the way we were paying a week ago, or we're also going into the Forex thing? Because that's the impression I have, that credit cards change too in the manner of payment. Secondly, I'd like to know how this Forex thing is going in the week, because I also need it, particularly at a business level, and I sat down with my instructions and you published in the newspaper and followed them. and there was one glitch. In the area where it says, and then load global payments, that option wasn't there under Ed. It wasn't there. I phoned Matapa, I spoke to the lady, she tried to consult, she came back, ngabona ukuthi asivani. Fortunately, I know someone in the bank who understands it. Click here, click here, click here. But that's me. How many people don't find that? Now it's add global payments. 2, if you sign a 2 on a business account, I'm the administrator. So I load this thing, and then I tell my other person who probably is at Lavumesa doing the Wendago. I call it the app. The app doesn't load for the app learner for signing, for counter signing. So I phoned my cousin who's at the bank and I say, "My say no. You have to have a laptop or a computer. It's not loaded on apps on the phone." One, we have to do this between 8 and 3:30. Umvukala vumisa ensimini. Bantu nabakuhambela imali yabo. Ngicela sisiyathi umvafika ngconcothe kathi ngicela ndocela le phasela lapha. So we are being mina nje nyalo nangisuka la, there's someone I have to go and pay. And ungithumelela message la mhla wathi kuhamba njalo. So this is creating a new problem, and I'm just wondering, are you guys and why is this thing not available on the phone as normal? Because the normal transactions local, if you patala zetu, sign on the phone, but this one, I'm told by FNB, not on the phone. Go global payment.
Are those all your questions for today?
Yeah.
I think there are two items that I'm going to highlight, Mr. Makubu. One, we are working on, by the way, just localizing that whole credit card offering. So a lot of what will be happening in the next 12 months or so is to make sure that we eliminate this thing and we make sure that the credit card offering is 100% domestic with the same benefits that were there before. I just think that's an important thing to add. And then the second one is that we've actually been inventing solutions on the fly. These changes have come with deadlines and certain commitments that were made to regional regulators. So when you institute the changes yourself, you can plan for every possible scenario and preload it in your solutioning and time the release. So right now we've had to meet the deadline as defined as best as we can, and then we're back solving based on customer feedback. So some of what you're highlighting, I know there's a lot of work that's being done with the app to make sure that the customer experience transfers from what you knew before to what the capabilities are.
With regard to the credit card payments, I think, thank you for highlighting that. I did breeze over it quite quickly in the interest of time. What we were trying to say is that you will pay for the credit card using the Forex platform. So you would have to log on to Forex online, on online banking, or on the app if you're an individual, and make that payment there. What we did try to do to the best of our ability is issue communications to our clients who do use the credit cards on exactly how to make the payments on Forex. But I do note that there are some glitches that you're highlighting. So thank you for that feedback, and we will work with our teams just to clarify on certain points. I think Dennis is mentioning that, you know, you can only plan for so much and things do go wrong, but we are honestly trying our best within the limited time that we have had to try and plan for all the scenarios around that. So the glitch on the comms, I think, thank you for highlighting that. We will sort that out. And then on credit card, we will also just expand further on how to use the Forex channel. And then in terms of app for business, we managed to launch Forex on app for individuals in time. It is a different platform in the back end to enable for business. It is is on our radar. There are a few other things that are on our radar, so definitely app for business. There's scheduled payments, which is important to all our clients to be able to preload those payments. There's public beneficiaries, so instead of getting those beneficiary details to load as global beneficiaries, we want to reload them on the Forex platform. But all these things do take time, and our deadline was the 10th of September. So within that, we tried to develop our platforms insofar as we can, but certain things do take a lot more time. I'm not sure, Zilindile, if you'd like to add anything further.
Thank you. So let's engage with what specifics. Are there any other thoughts? There's someone in the middle.
Tabiso. Oh, there. I think maybe just to add on that, Tembi and her team also play a crucial role in just giving us insights onto what the customer feedback is, and it is monitored daily, and we are trying to essentially collate that bank of knowledge with regards to the on-the-ground customer experiences, and try to proactively over-communicate around that, and try to proactively pivot our customer education around that. So it's a daily process of what's in and what should go out. But again, we will try to do better with regards to just ensuring that we enhance the customer education, including also giving some of the how-to guides so that it's clear around what the steps are as well.
Baphindze futhi baveta ukuthi khona ke lushintsho lolukhona kakhulu uma uthumela imali emaveni eSouth Africa, eNamibia neLesotho. Kanti ke wonke lothumela imali kulamave lamathathu angeke asakhona ukuthi athumele nga-EFT kodwa sotawuthumela nga-Swift le khona ku-FNB app ehlangothini lwe-FNB Forex, khona futhi naku-FNB online banking kanye naku-FNB online banking enterprise.
Lebe sihlangene ngako lamhla besicelile silibhange ukuthi sibuthisane netinhlangano lesebenzisana nato nema investors aleli bhange. Ikakhulu nje lamhla bekune betindzaba imedia, bekunalaba lusati inkampani letisebenta ngetimali ema regulators, bekunalama investors laba ma shareholders la FNB. Besitokhulumisana ngekuthi libhange lente njani kulomnyaka lophelile. Umnyaka wethu uphela ngaJune. Lobo uphela nje sesi tincwadi tethu setibukiwe, ma auditors batisayina. Sesi ngekwemthetho kufanele bese sesiyahamba siya kulesebenzisana nabo umhlaba nje wonke, lakhaya sisho ukuthi kuhambe njani, lesi kusebentile sikuthethephi, lese kuspendile sikuspende njani, lokusele sikusebenzise njani. Sibe nenhlanhla lonyaka lokuthi ama profits enyukile by nearly 12%. Nakhona anyuke ngoba besisebenzana nesive sisithanzile, sachubeka sasebenzisa ama services ethu, sasebenzisa ama platforms ethu, sayikhuthalela sakukhuthalela lo msebenzi lo wendwa ye-FNB. So kude lokubi lesikubikako konke kuhle, lesiphindze sakusho nje kulaba labathenga ama-shares kuleli bhange ukuthi kulomnyaka nga-April kwaba khona ama-dividends esiwabhadalako labeka phuma kule besikhonile kukwakha kulo 6 months wekucala nacala lo mnyaka. So kulo 6 months wekugcina nakhona lesitakhokha. Siyacabanga nje ukuthi utawuthi uphela lo mnyaka by the time nasi reporter konke lesikubhadela kutawendlula 170 million in terms of just ama-dividends kuphela, somewhere between 170 and 175 million. Siyati le nombolo but kufanele siyireporte ngekwemthetho lokuthi itawuthini yona mbamba. So siyabajabulela labo labakhona kuthola lama shares ukuthi kukhona lutho lolubuyako, but sijabulela nalitisebenzi nje ukuthi ekusebenteni lakhaya nabo kukhona lokuncane lokubuya kiko, but sijabulela nalokuthi ama customer achubeka support. Sibikile nje ukuthi konke lesikwendile ingcenye yale lesikutholako siyabiyela sibuke ukuthi live ngikuphi la singalibambisa khona, especially around social impact investments. Sihlale sikucabanga lokho, angeke sikhone kwenda konke ngasikhathi sinye, kodwa timali tikitsikitsi sitikhokhile ukuthi lana sikhula thina kube khona nalesibabambisako even kude loku lesikuthola kuthina kubonwe ngilabanye kuviwe ngilabanye nabo bawathole emathuba ekuphila nemathuba ekusebenta siphindze sasithola lithuba ke ukuthi si introduce lo tawuthatha as umholi we FNB CEO kuya embili nekuthi ke sithule le team la tawusebenta nayo so konke kuhambe kahle siyabonga nje ukuthi media isupportile baphindze basibuta imibuto ngalokwetayele ngiyathi sive lemibuto kakhulu ngalo kwe-CMA nalama cross border payments sitamile kwakhulumisa lamhla sitawuchubeka siwakhulumisa angicabanga ukuthi isikhathi lesincane kaso bekungavuma ukuthi singene kutotonke letingono tale nkulumo kodwa emathuba tawuba khona ukuthi sichubeke sikhulumisane sisebenzisane siyabonga nje lokuthi nibe khona nekuthi nitosisekela nani siyabonga kakhulu
Ngithembe ukuthi kakhulu amakhasimende First National Bank asitakele ngokutfola ke wona ama-updates ukuthi ngabe ilukuphi lushintsho nokuthi ngabe kuhamba njani ikakhulu kulabo labathenga ama-shares eminyakeni lophelile. Mina ekhanyisile mabuza ngifisela kubula lokuhle enhlanhlanzelako nibe nobusuku lobuhle neliviki eligcwele tebusisana saleni kahle.